Let's face it, Mailchimp pop-up forms just plain stink. They lack the features and design elements that would make them truly effective. Two features I wish they had are the ability to add a tag and to redirect subscribers after signing up. Now, if you're on WordPress, there are plenty of plugins to choose from, but they come with their own risks. So, what if I told you there's a way to add those features I mentioned by using the Mailchimp embed form as a foundation with some easy to implement CSS and JavaScript? So let's get started. Now, for those of you who are like totally turned off by cascading style sheet design and JavaScript and some HTML, I have the code for you available to download. Go to the link in the description, fill out your information on the pop-up that you see, and you will get an email and some directions on how to get the code for you to use. What you're looking at on the screen is the pop-up that I created using that custom code. So let's dive into this a little bit. I'm going to keep it high level. And again, click the link in the description to get the code for you to use on your own website. Starting with the foundation of the embed form. I was taking a look at the embed form code because we don't get code for the pop-up form itself. And I wanted to use the elements that are included in the embed code, such as the ability to add a tag and obviously first name and last name fields. So if I click on edit on this particular test embed form that I have here, or embedded form, and if we click on continue, we'll see the code here. Now, what the code does is basically provide a connection to Mailchimp, so anyone that fills out this form will be added to our Mailchimp audience. So how does it do that? Well, it uses this thing called form action. Again, I'm not going to get into the technicalities of this, but the important piece here is this URL right here. Okay? So what that does is it opens a connection to my user ID, and it also contains a list ID and also a form ID. Now, I dropped the form ID in this URL for my embed form because I'm not using a form ID. But I took this URL and I also took these form fields. So I took the label and email address, and I took the first name and grabbed this hidden tag, which has a value of numbers. So it's a tag ID. So I grabbed those elements and I put them into a page on my WordPress website. So you'll see here the same thing. I've added in this form action here, and you'll see the first name and the email address. Okay? Along with this, there are some CSS stylings, and also you'll see some JavaScript elements like on click and on submit. It does a return to do the redirect thank you. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But this is the foundation. So if I were to show this page without the JavaScript that hides the form, it will look something like this. It would look like a regular embed form to a person looking at the page. So what the JavaScript does is hides the form until I say when to show it. If I scroll down here on this page, I have the ability to add CSS directly to this page because of the theme that I use for my website. If you do not have this ability, then you can use a plugin called Code Snippets, or it used to be called Header and Footer plugin, and you can add your CSS that way. But if we quickly take a look at the CSS, it is very basic. All it does is applies a background when the pop-up appears, so it kind of masks the background of the page that you're visiting. The other thing that it does is positions the close button, and other features here in the CSS is the ability to change with the screen resolution. That's all that's really doing. Right here you'll see mobile styles. Okay, so those are the two elements. Basically an embed form from Mailchimp, using it with some CSS. Now, where the JavaScript comes into play is for two reasons. Ones I've already mentioned, in that it will show the form when someone visits the page, and I can control how quickly the form shows when a person visits the page. And the other thing is, if a person were to click that X to close out the form, I don't want that form to reappear for a certain amount of days. So I've implemented some basic JavaScript here to do some cookie tracking, and it will set a cookie on the browser, and it will set it for 7 days. That's all this is doing. And it will check to make sure that it wasn't already closed within that 7 days. And if it isn't, then it will show the pop-up form. So that's what this function is here, show pop-up form. And when they click on that little close icon, that little X, it will hide it for 7 days. The other big component here is that other feature that I wish Mailchimp had, and that is the redirect to a thank you page. So I've got on submit, so when a person submits the form, they will get redirected to a thank you page. And the last piece here is the delay of how quickly the form shows. Now, this is very basic. There might be other scripts out there that you could use, find on Google, that will allow you to have a slide in or have it on exit versus when the person first comes to the page, those types of things. I have it set to 1000, which means it's just going to show almost immediately. I don't want a person lands on a page because I am still testing this. And that's it. That's the code. So let's test it all out, shall we? So here's the form as it is right now. If I refresh the page, you'll see how quickly it pops up. And we get that nice background so that the pop-up form stands out. Let's fill it out. Susie sample 451 and click on yes, I want to stay in the loop. And we get immediately redirected to our thank you page. Now let's check out what's on the Mailchimp side. So back in my Mailchimp dashboard, if I go over to audience dashboard here and I click on the 35 here, we'll see here that we've just added Susie sample 451, Susie Q22 with our tag. If you have any questions on this process, let me know in the comments below. Happy to help anywhere that I can. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.